Alrighty guys, what is going on? It is EJ with Anchor Overland coming at you with a brand new video this week. So in today's video, I am back in the garage. The last time I was in the garage was when I was touching up my suspension. I found that loose bolt on my passenger shock, and I will put that video up here for you to go check out after you finish this one, of course. So in today's video, I am going to be replacing my Mopar LED fog lights with brand new Mopar LED fog lights. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why am I replacing fog lights, Mopar fog lights with Mopar fog lights? Well, up front, I'm not replacing them with KC or another brand because personally, I think the Mopar LED fog lights do just fine. I am eventually going to put on some KC lights on my cowls, and I also want to get a Gravity Pro 6 light bar for the actual Jeep eventually. But no, so the reason why I am replacing Mopar LED fog lights with Mopar LED fog lights is because I inadvertently burnt out my fog lights. So for those of you guys who don't know, if your Jeep comes with factory halogen fog lights and you switch to the Mopar LED fog lights, this applies to the headlights as well. If you came with the halogen headlights, same exact thing applies. You have to go into your PCM and basically tell it that, hey, I have LED lights, and if you don't do that, they burn out. And that's what happened. I have a TAZER JL Mini, and I knew that setting was in there to switch the headlights from halogen to LED, but I did not realize that there was also a setting for the fog lights. So essentially what happens is if you're running the fog lights and your PCM, your Jeep's computer, still thinks that you have halogens, it is sending too much current to those lights and it literally burns out the LED bulb prematurely. By prematurely, I mean within like a week. There's a bunch of posts on the JL Wrangler forums, and that is where I discovered, my mistake. But that's enough talking. Let's get into this replacement. All right, so the tools needed for this job is going to be a 10mm socket. If your 10mm is missing, well, I guess you gotta go buy a new one. I'm going to use a extension just due to the fact that it'll make it a little bit easier to get some of these bolts out. And then, of course, a ratchet. Now, if you have a electric ratchet, then you can use that obviously instead. But I do not have electric ratchet, so I will be using a manual ratchet. All right, so it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but you are going to be removing 2 bolts. You're going to be removing one on top and one on bottom. If you have the LED fog lights already installed. So I'll go ahead and I will take those out. Now, if you have the Mopar plastic bumper, this procedure is a little bit different. You are going to have to remove the back of this with some trim removal tools. That's what they're called. So essentially, if you have the plastic bumper, your end caps are covered by a plastic shield. For that, you just have to get a trim removal tool or a flathead and just go ahead and pull those out. The Mopar stubby bumper, steel bumper, does not come with those end caps or those covers on the end caps. So it's as simple as just pulling those out. So I am going to do that real quick and get back to you. All right, and now obviously you're going to want to remove the wire harness. So for that, you simply have to push this little tab and then pull straight out. Go ahead and finish removing these bolts by hand. There we go. And just like that, it is removed. Now, you do have these little plastic, not plastic, little metal tabs that the fog lights actually screw into. So you want to make sure that those stay in place. One of mine popped out. So when I go to reinstall the new fog light, I will make sure that that tab goes back in the hole. So once your fog light is out, you're going to go ahead and repeat the same procedure on the other side. Since I started on the driver's side, I will go repeat it on the passenger side. All right, now once the old ones are out, the new ones, or not say the new ones, but these are side specific. So you see right there, there's an LH. That LH indicates that this is going to be the left-hand side, also known as the driver's side. So be mindful of that when you go to install your new fog lights, even if they're not Mopar, and if they are a off-brand aftermarket like KC or Baja designs. Typically, these are going to be left or right side, just depending on the light itself. So let's go ahead and install this on the driver's side. All right, so it is best to start these with your hand, just to start threading in the bolt with your hand. So like I said, I am going to, it's going to be a little bit tricky because of this metal piece that came off. There we go. After a little bit of finagling, get those holes aligned. Go ahead and take your top bolt, put that through. Like I said, you just want to hand tighten these just to get them started. Once you got them started, you can go ahead and use your ratchet. All right, so I went ahead and got my fog light installed. I am tightening them down by hand just to get them threaded. And once they are threaded, and I know they're threaded, I will go ahead with my ratchet and I will start to tighten it down. Now these should be torqued down to about 10 inch-pounds. Which, if you know anything about torque values, you know that 10 inch-pounds is absolutely nothing. So you want to make sure that you are not overly torquing these, because this is a plastic housing and you will crack the housing. So snug and then a little bit more of a return. I'll come in with my torque wrench and I will torque it down to verify that it's good to go. Now, these fog lights do have a adjustment, a beam adjustment. So if you have a lift like I do, I have a 2.5-inch lift, you will have to come in when it's dark and align those lights. So you send that light where you want to send it, which I still have to do for my headlights. So I'll probably do both of these at the same time. I'll do my headlights and I will do my fog lights at the same time. Right, so like I said, snug and an extra little turn. All right, now I will take my connector and I will plug that in, just like that. Now, rinse, repeat, and do it on the other side. Get that top bolt into place. And like I said, just hand thread it 1 or 2 turns to make sure that it is in. You're gonna take your bottom and there we go. And same thing, you're gonna line up the hole and hand thread a few turns. All right, so once you have your fog lights or your headlights installed, depending on what you're upgrading, you're gonna come into the Jeep, and this step is only if you have a TAZER JL Mini or JL Lite installed. Now, TAZER is the most popular brand with Jeep enthusiasts and with Jeep drivers. So likely hood is that if you do not have a TAZER, you will be buying one, which I recommend them no matter what, whether you are going to be upgrading your tire size or changing your gearing and your axles. I recommend getting a TAZER. It allows you to modify all that stuff in your computer so your engine runs properly. But nevertheless, you come into the Jeep, my TAZER JL is installed in my OB2 port because I installed it when I did my lift. So you're going to come into your Jeep, and I do have push start, so I will be go ahead and put in the button. Now, you want to make sure that you are not pushing the brake. You just want to cycle to run. I'll close my door. Now, once you are running, you should have your check engine light, your seatbelt light if you're not wearing a seatbelt, and then your battery light. Battery light is because you are not running. Now, I do have my parking brake on, so my brake is engaged. That doesn't really matter. So go ahead, and you should know this, but in case you don't, you are going to navigate to audio, and now you are going to hold your cancel button on your cruise control. And you're going to use the left arrow, and as you see, you are now cycling through menus. Now, lighting is what we want, so go ahead and hit cruise select. And right now, my DRLs are still stock. All right, so we have fog lights and halo, no. So here we go, LED heads and LED fogs. Now, I already came in when I was troubleshooting the issue, and I installed and I hit yes. But if not, you would simply hit cruise control select or on off and switch it. So I have it on yes. Now, after that is done, you are just gonna keep hitting cancel until you get back to the main menu. And then you are gonna come here to full reboot. Full reboot is what's gonna lock it into the system. So go ahead and hit full reboot. You're gonna get a countdown. And once that countdown is complete, you will turn off the vehicle to off, go back to run without hitting brake, and turn the vehicle on. Now, during this reboot, things are going to flash on and off. So your screen will boot on and off, and then several things on your dashboard might also cycle on and off, and that is just it's cycling through your Jeep's computer and applying the updates. All right, now once reboot goes away and it stops counting down, now you are going to do 2 cycles. So like I said, you are going to hit off. So you hit off down on your selector, and then open the door, close the door. Now this is going to take a few seconds, about 15-20 seconds, and then eventually this will turn off. Once your dashboard turns off, you are going to just repeat. So like I said, you are going to put the vehicle to run, let everything boot up, and then go back to off. And then that is 2 cycles. Okay, so now that it is completely done doing its 2 cycles, go ahead and start the vehicle. You don't have to start it, but I like how my diesel sounds. Now, to verify that your fog lights are actually working, go ahead and select on and hit the fog lights. Come over here to the front of the vehicle. Just like that, fog lights are on. Let me back in here, turn them off, and turn off my vehicle. All right, and just like that, your fog lights are replaced. Now, it is, like I said, the same process going into the TAZER menu that it is for the LED headlights. As you saw going through the menu, there was an option for halos and for LED head. Now, I am planning on putting on some factory halos here pretty soon, so when I do that, I will come in and I will obviously change that setting. Yeah, that's all I have for this video. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you found it informative and that you learned from my mistake. Believe me, it is a costly mistake to make. Now, I've had LED headlights on before. So on my original bumper, well, not my original, but my rock slide lights, I had aftermarket LED headlights on that bumper. So I did not need to go in and change that setting. And that is why when I switched out that rock slide engineering bumper for the Mopar stubby, I didn't even think about going in and changing the setting because I ran that bumper for about 2 years. And I used my fog lights plenty of times on that vehicle. on my vehicle and on that bumper without ever having to change that setting. Now the Mopar LED headlights and other like high quality LED headlights and fog lights, fog lights have like built-in sensors, and they have like certain power requirements, and not changing that LED, that setting from from halogen to LED causes the Jeep to just send too much power to those fog lights, and they burn out pretty fast. So yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it taught you something new, and I hope you don't make my mistake. So I'm going to end the video here, and I want to thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time coming by my channel, please go ahead and hit a like and a subscribe and check out my other content. I try to post content at least once a week, whether that be me camping and off-roading, or just off-roading. And then also formats like this where I am in the garage working on the Jeep. All right, until next time, this has been EJ with Anchor Overland.